Stop looking at the horizon. The cavalry isn't coming. It's week 2. The initial panic, the screaming, the car crashes, the gunfire, that's all over. Now comes something worse. The silence. You're sitting in your apartment, the same one where you used to complain about the Wi-Fi speed, and you're listening to the city die. The power grid is flickering out block by block. The water pressure is gone. And down on the street, the things that used to be your neighbours are looking up at your window. This isn't a movie. In a movie, the hero loads a shotgun and drives a muscle car through a blockade. If you do that today, you die. Week 2 is the filter. This is when the adrenaline wears off and the dehydration sets in. This is when you realise that survival isn't about fighting the world, it's about enduring it. You need to secure your spot now, before the hunger makes you do something stupid. Most of you think you're ready because you've bought a tactical flashlight and a case of water. You're not. You're thinking about saving your own skin. That's amateur hour. Real survival is about the people behind you. It's about your kid looking at you with cracked, bleeding lips, asking for a juice box you don't have. It's about your spouse watching you freeze up when the door handle turns. If you don't have a plan for the siege, you aren't just a casualty, you're a liability to the people you love. We are going to walk through the Week 2 protocol. We're building a fire team from your neighbours. We're establishing noise discipline that would make a monk look loud. And we are going on a supply run without firing a single shot. If you want to keep breathing, pay attention. Let's talk about the battle space. It's not the city you know. The sanitation department hasn't run in 14 days. The smell hitting your nose right now isn't just garbage, it's decomposition amplified by summer heat. The cellular towers are dead. Their backup generators ran dry 3 days ago. That little bar on your phone saying no service is the most dangerous thing in your pocket because it gives you false hope. You keep checking it. Stop. The silence outside is heavy. The only sounds are the intermittent car alarms triggered by the wind and the shuffling. Thousands of feet dragging on asphalt. The zombies aren't running anymore, they're wandering. They've formed a drifting minefield around your building. This is a siege. You are trapped in a concrete box and the enemy has infinite patience. They don't need to sleep. You do. Here is how the untrained die in Week 2. They treat the silence as safety. They see a clear street and think, I can make it to my sister's house in the suburbs. They pack a bag, load the family into the SUV, and open the garage door. The noise of that electric motor opening the gate carries for 3 blocks. The engine turning over carries for 5. They don't even make it out of the driveway. They get swarmed because they didn't understand the acoustic environment. The city is a canyon. Sound bounces. If you act like a civilian commuter, you ring the dinner bell. The panic reaction is over. Now the danger is complacency. You cannot leave your perimeter without a tactical plan. If you step outside without recon, you are just fast food on wheels. I know what you're thinking. Sergeant Miller, this is America. The National Guard would have cleared the streets by now. FEMA would have airdropped MREs. Let's kill that fantasy right now. In a localised disaster, a hurricane, a flood, yes, the Guard comes. But this is a global biological collapse. The military isn't gone, but they aren't here for you. They are protecting the continuity of government. They are securing nuclear assets, command bunkers, and strategic reserves. Your apartment complex is not a strategic asset. It's a write-off. Look at the math. There are 330 million people in this country. There are maybe 2 million active and reserve troops. Even if they were all immune, which they aren't, they are outnumbered 150 to 1. They are not coming to clear your street. If you hear a helicopter, it's not looking for survivors, it's transiting between secure zones. You are on your own. Accept it. You're on the 4th floor landing, checking the fire door. It's the only way between floors now that the elevators are death traps. You see a shadow. You freeze. It's not a zombie. It's the guy from 4B. And the woman from 5C. You've nodded at these people for years, maybe complained about their laundry, but you don't know their names. Now they are your squad. You have an ER doctor who looks like she hasn't slept in a week, clutching a first aid kit like it's gold bullion. You have a freelance electrician, the guy you thought was a bum because he was always home at 2 p.m, who is currently stripping wire from a wall sconce. And you have a retired logistics officer from the army. This isn't a social hour. This is a draft. You aren't friends, you are assets. You look at them and you assess utility. Can she sew a wound? Can he hotwire a generator? Can he hold a line? The lone wolf dies. The pack survives. Disaster sociology proves that in a vacuum of authority, humans self-organize. But you need to steer that organization immediately. You don't vote on leadership, you recognize competence. The doctor is now the medical officer. Her word on hygiene is law. If she says you wash your hands before touching the water supply, you scrub until you bleed. Infection in a grid-down scenario is a death sentence, even without the zombie virus. A simple cut turns septic, and you die of fever while the dead scratch at the door. The electrician is your engineer. His job is battery conservation. He raids every smoke detector and remote control in the building to build a power bank for the emergency radio. The soldier, that's you or the guy next to you, is security. You set the watch schedule. You determine the engagement rules. Everyone has a job. Idleness breeds fear. Give them a task and they stop panicking. The community needs a constitution. Not a long document, 3 rules written in Sharpie on the wall of the hallway. Rule 1. Visual confirmation only. Zombies retain muscle memory. They can turn a doorknob. They can moan. Sometimes, when the wind hits their vocal cords right, they sound like they're crying for help. If someone knocks and yells, "Let me in!" you do not open that door. You look through the peephole. If you can't see eyes, the door stays shut. I don't care if it sounds like your mother. Rule 2. Light discipline. At night, this building must look abandoned. 1 candle in a window can draw a horde from 6 blocks away. Blackout curtains are mandatory. If you have light, it stays in the interior rooms. Rule 3. The injury protocol. This is the hard one. If you go outside and come back with a scratch, you go into isolation. Immediate reporting. No secrets. A hidden bite kills the whole house. Enforcing Rule 3 is going to break your heart. You have to look your neighbour in the eye, the nice lady who watered your plants, and tell her she has to sit in a locked room for 24 hours because she scraped her arm on a rusty nail. She will cry. She will say you're being cruel. But you aren't being cruel, you are protecting your family. The virus, whatever it is, works fast. If she turns in the middle of the night while sleeping in the common area, she eats the doctor first. Then you have no medical support. Then the panic starts. Then the soldier gets bitten trying to contain her. Then the whole cell collapses. You are the wall. You have to be cold to be kind. The guilt you feel for locking her up is nothing compared to the guilt of watching your kid get torn apart because you were too polite to enforce protocol. It's day 14. The pantry is thinning out. You ate the chips and the cookies in the first week because you were stressed. Now you're looking at a can of pumpkin puree and a half box of pasta. You need calories. The doctor calculates the burn rate. 3 adults, 2 kids, roughly 8,000 calories a day to maintain combat effectiveness. You don't have it. You have to go out. This is the first sortie. You don't just walk out the front door. You plan this like a raid. You need a 3-man team: point man, flank, rear guard. Why 3? Because if 1 gets hurt, 2 can carry him. If you go with 2 and 1 goes down, you're both dead. You go during the day, high noon. Yes, it's hot, but the sun is your friend. Zombies are visual hunters, but your situational awareness is maxed out in daylight. At night, their hearing advantage owns the battle space. Put the gun away. I see you eyeing that 9mm pistol you bought. Leave it. In a city made of concrete and glass, a gunshot sounds like a cannon. You fire one round to drop a zombie, and you attract 500 more. You create a horde event. This mission is stealth. You want blunt force or reach. A crowbar is good, utility and weapon combined. A baseball bat is okay, but it requires too much swing radius in a tight hallway. The best weapon? A sharpened spade or a framing hammer. You need tools that can breach a door and scramble a frontal lobe. You wear layers. Duct tape magazines around your forearms. Poor man's braces. Leather jackets. Thick denim. Human teeth aren't shark teeth. They have trouble getting through heavy canvas. You are armouring up for close quarters combat. You aren't hunting, you are scavenging. If you have to fight, something has already gone wrong. Stepping out of the building feels like stepping onto the surface of the moon. The air is still. The soldier takes point. You take the rear. You don't take the sidewalk. The sidewalk is the fatal funnel. It's where the panicked crowds ran, so it's where the zombies are thickest. You take the alleyways. You climb fences. You move through the back courtyards. You move slow. Pause every 10 feet. Listen. Smell. You're looking for the supermarket 3 blocks over. It's been looted, obviously. The glass front is smashed. Carts are overturned. But looters are lazy. They grab the stuff at eye level. They grab the chips, the beer, the stuff near the front. They don't dig. You are going for the back storage. You are going for the canned yams that nobody wanted on day one. You are looking for the nutritional paste that will keep your people alive. Inside the store, the smell hits you. Rotting meat in the butcher section. The power has been out for 2 weeks and the chicken is liquid. You have to suppress the gag reflex. Breathe through your mouth. The floor is sticky. Broken glass everywhere. Watch your step. Crunching glass is loud. You move to the centre aisles. The soldier signals, "Halt!" Movement at the end of the cereal aisle. 2 of them. One in an apron, one in a business suit. They are just standing there, swaying, dormant. This is the danger zone. If you startle them, they moan. If they moan, the 20 others in the back room wake up. You have to bypass. You aren't here to kill zombies, you're here for calories. You low crawl under the shelving. You slide past them, heart hammering against your ribs. You are 5 feet from a creature that wants to eat you, and you are worried about the squeak of your sneaker on the linoleum. It goes sideways in the canned goods aisle. You drop a can of peaches. Clang! The sound is deafening. The 2 zombies turn. The moan starts. A low, wet rattle. The soldier doesn't hesitate. He rushes the first one. This isn't cinema. He doesn't do a karate kick. He shoves the zombie hard in the chest, knocking it back into the shelves, creating distance. Then he brings the crowbar down. Not a swing, a thrust. Controlled violence. The second one is on you. It's heavy. Dead weight is heavier than live weight. It grabs your jacket. You smell the breath, bile and copper. You panic. You want to scream. Don't. You drive the hammer into the temple. It doesn't drop instantly. It twitches. It claws. You hit it again. And again. It stops. You are panting, sweating, shaking. The adrenaline dump is massive. You check yourself. Any tears in the fabric? Any blood on your skin? No, you're clear. Grab the food. Move. Now. That right there. That 10 seconds of violence. That's the lesson. In movies, killing zombies looks like a video game. In reality, it's exhausting. It's physically repulsive. You feel the skull give way. You see the person they used to be. The one in the apron has a name tag that says, Brenda. You just killed Brenda. You have to compartmentalise that instantly. If you hesitate because of Brenda, you die. If you vomit, you dehydrate. You have to turn off the part of your brain that respects human life and turn on the reptile brain that protects the pack. This is the psychological toll of the siege. It's not the fear of death, it's the horror of what you have to do to live. You pack the bags. Canned beans, rice, dried milk. Heavy. Your rucksack cuts into your shoulders. The run back is going to be harder. Moving tactically without a load is hard. Moving with 50 pounds of canned goods is torture. Your centre of gravity is off. You're slower. You're louder. The soldier takes the heaviest pack because he has the conditioning. You take the water. The electrician watches the rear. Every shadow looks like a threat now. You're tired, and fatigue makes you stupid. You take a shortcut through a courtyard and almost walk into a group of 5. You have to backtrack. The sun is getting lower. Shadows are stretching. The golden hour before sunset is dangerous because the light plays tricks on your eyes. You are racing the clock. If you're stuck out here in the dark, you are dead. You sprint the last block, lungs burning, legs screaming. You hit the back door of your building. The signal knock. 3 taps, pause. 1 tap. The door opens. The smell of the safe zone, stale air and bleach, is the best thing you've ever smelled. You don't just walk into the living room and hug your kids. You are contaminated. You are covered in gore, dust, and potential viral particulate. The doctor meets you in the airlock, the vestibule you set up with plastic sheets. Strip down, everything. Clothes go into a garbage bag to be sealed for 72 hours. Shoes are sprayed with a bleach solution, 10% bleach, 90% water. You wipe your skin with wet rags. You check for scratches. The doctor checks your back, your neck, the places you can't see. This is invasive. It feels humiliating. Do it anyway. This is the infection control barrier. If you bring the virus in on your boot and your toddler crawls on that floor later, the mission is a failure. Only when you are scrubbed, checked, and dressed in clean clothes do you enter the perimeter. You hand over the food. It's not much, a week's worth. But you bought your people 7 more days of life. Here is the complication for week 3. The zombies are changing. Not mutating, adapting. Or rather, the environment is selecting the dangerous ones. The weak zombies, the ones that were already sick or injured, are rotting apart in the heat. They can't walk. But the fresh ones, the ones who turned yesterday, they are fast, they are hungry, and they are starting to herd. The random shuffling is turning into swarm behaviour. If one hears a noise, 50 follow. You've cleared the immediate supplies. Next time, you have to go further. You have to go deeper into the city. The risk curve is going vertical. You need to start thinking about the long game. The city is a trap. Eventually, the fires will spread. Eventually, the water in the pipes will dry up completely. You are surviving the siege, but you cannot win the war from this apartment. You need an exit strategy. The doctor, the soldier, the electrician. You start planning the bug out. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. You need a vehicle, but not just any car. Modern cars with electronic ignitions are useless if the battery dies or the computer glitches. You need something dumb, something mechanical. The soldier knows of a municipal depot nearby. Old trucks, diesels. Diesel fuel stores longer than gasoline. It doesn't explode like in the movies, it burns slow. That is the next mission, securing mobile armour. But for tonight, you lock the door. You check the blackout curtains. You eat your ration of beans. You listen to the city scream outside. You look at your team. They aren't strangers anymore. They are the only family you have left. Survival isn't about gear. I say that all the time, but tonight you saw why. Gear didn't clear that aisle in the supermarket. Gear didn't keep you from screaming when the zombie grabbed you. Willpower did. Discipline did. The ability to suppress your humanity for 10 seconds to protect your humanity for the rest of your life. That is the paradox of the siege. To keep the monsters out, you have to let a little bit of the monster in. You have to be ruthless with your security so you can be gentle with your children. The grid isn't what keeps the lights on, it's what kept the darkness back. Now the grid is gone. You are the generator. You are the wall. You are the only thing standing between your family and the silence. Don't let the flame go out. This was week 2. Week 3 is where the infrastructure fails completely. That's when the fires start merging. We're going to cover urban evasion, vehicle acquisition, and how to deal with the most dangerous threat of all, other survivors who didn't prepare. If you want to be on the winning side of that equation, you know what to do. Check your supplies, check your perimeter, and for God's sake, check your peephole. Stay sharp. Let's circle back to water. I skipped it earlier, but it's the primary failure point. By week 2, the pressure in the mains is 0. Gravity-fed systems in tall buildings are dry. If you didn't fill your bathtub on day 1, you are scavenging. Where? Toilet tanks. The reservoir, not the bowl. It's clean water. Water heaters. Every apartment has 40 gallons of potable water sitting in a tank. You need a hose and a wrench to access it. This is where the electrician earns his keep. He knows how to drain the system without creating a vacuum lock. You filter everything. I don't care if it came from a sealed tank. Boil it. Chemical tablets, bleach. Dysentery killed more soldiers in the Civil War than bullets. In the zombie siege, diarrhea is a fatality. It dehydrates you and the smell attracts the dead. Manage your biological waste. Bag it, seal it. Do not throw it out the window. That tells the world someone is alive up there. You can't stay awake for 14 days. Psychosis sets in at 72 hours without REM sleep. You start hallucinating. You hear footsteps that aren't there. You shoot your friend because you thought he was a zombie. You need a sleep rotation. The soldier sets it up. 2 hours on, 4 hours off. This is called watch standing. You never leave the perimeter unguarded. The person on watch must be standing up. If you sit, you sleep. If you sleep, you die. Coffee is for the watchstander only. It's a strategic resource, not a breakfast beverage. You sleep in your clothes. You sleep with your boots on. If the door gets breached, you don't have time to lace up. You go from dream state to combat state in 4 seconds. That is the life now. Comfort is a memory. Readiness is the only luxury you can afford. We talked about zombies, but the city itself is trying to kill you. Without the fire department, a single candle in an apartment 3 floors down can burn the whole building. You need to smell for smoke constantly. You need an evacuation plan that doesn't use the roof. The roof is a trap, unless you have a helicopter, which you don't. If the building burns, you are forced onto the street. That is the worst case scenario. Forced displacement into a hostile zone at night. You need fire extinguishers. Loot them from the hallways. Keep them in your unit. If a fire starts in your block, you don't run, you fight the fire. You fight it like it's a zombie. Aggressively. You smother it. Because if you lose the shelter, you lose the survival advantage. The outside world is 100% hostile. Inside is only 10% hostile. Protect the box. Lastly, You need to manage morale. The doctor knows this. Despair is a toxin. If your group sits around talking about how everyone is dead, they will give up. They will get sloppy. You need small victories. A hot meal, a deck of cards, a clean shirt. These things matter. You need to enforce a routine. Wake up, clean weapons, check inventory, exercise. Physical training burns off cortisol. It keeps the body ready and the mind focused. Do not let them doom scroll on dead phones. Do not let them stare out the window for hours. Keep them working. Work is hope. As long as you are building, fixing, or planning, you are alive. The moment you stop moving, the entropy takes over. And in week 2, entropy has teeth. I'll leave you with this. The zombies are just a force of nature. They are a hurricane that doesn't end. You don't hate the hurricane, you weather it. The real story of week 2 isn't the horror, it's the resilience. It's the fact that a soldier, a doctor, and an electrician, 3 people who had nothing in common, can build a fortress out of a walk-up apartment. It's the fact that you are still here, listening to this. You have the capacity to endure. But capacity means nothing without preparation. You have the blueprint now. The rest is execution. Secure your water. Secure your team. Secure your mind. The sun will come up tomorrow. Make sure you're there to see it. You survived the simulation. Now survive the reality. Equip yourself at the official supply depot. Because if the world is going to end, you might as well look prepared.